What's cracking, YouTube? Welcome back to Myers Two-Stroke RC Garage. And today, guys, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing post-run checks on the Taylor 71 Supreme. And what I mean by that is after I get done running every machine that I have, especially a big bore machine, I always like to go over all the fasteners and make sure nothing came loose, and do kind of like a post-run check and make sure nothing's damaged or on its way out, or something like that. So that's what we're going to be doing today. And I'm going to show you what my procedure is as far as how I check out my machine. And I also do a post-run check, and I also do a pre-run check. So I do two different checks, and the reason I do that is because with my brain injury, I might miss something on the first check, and I usually catch it on the second catch if there's something wrong. So that's why I always do two different checks and all that stuff. So why don't I get you guys down here closer to the machine, and we'll go over what I do to it. So, all right, guys, I got you guys down here closer to the bench, and the first thing, I haven't touched this thing since I ran it last at the park. And if you wanna watch that video, I'll link it in the description, or I'll put a little card up in the upper right-hand corner. So, but anyways, I haven't touched this machine since the only thing I've done is put the I guess the hood body panel back on, and it broke the front piece off. But yeah, it broke this front piece off, and that's the only thing I've done to the machine is just put that panel on. So why don't we just start by taking the body off the machine, or the cage, or whatever you want to call it. All right, guys, we got the cage off, and what we're gonna do is every now and again I'll go over the front fasteners, but I just visually check them for the most part. But the rear ones I always check physically. So we're just gonna go around, and I'm gonna check the rear ones. We're gonna use a 3mm Allen key. We're gonna go around and check all the ones on the transmission and the wheelie bar and everything. So the wheelie bar, I'm gonna have to switch over to 4mm. Those are all tight, and I'm gonna make this a little bit simpler on me. I'm gonna grab this. I gotta clean out some of the dirt or mud or whatever out of these bolt heads. And to do that, I just use an O-ring pick. So now we're going to check all our wheelie bar bolts. Okay, all those are tight. Now we're going to switch gears, and I'm going to grab a 10mm and check my limit strap top bolts. Both of those are tight. And I'm gonna go back to, I'm kind of switching around here, but I do it in a specific order. I'm switching back to my 4mm Allen. And then we're gonna switch to our 3mm Allen. Check these bolts back here, make sure they're good. Check our shock tower bolts. And those were just not quite snug. And then to tighten this front one, trying to make it so you guys can see. Okay, let's see if this one's, yeah, that one's still tight enough. And then, so we got all that checked. Now the next thing is to check this top plate. And I kind of wanted to mention something with that, with the top plate and all that stuff. And what I wanted to mention is when I first got this 71, I was still learning on what to go on, and I had these Rovin bulkheads. Yeah, these are Rovin bulkheads, but I had these bulkheads in the Punisher, and I was having problems with these fasteners over here, I was having problems with these fasteners over here, always coming loose. And then sometimes these ones back in here would come loose. And then when I got to 71, it actually busted the top plate. And I took it apart, and you know, I got some advice from some people on the internet, and you know, they were saying something was moving around and stuff like that. And I didn't think it would move around enough to cause an issue like that. So what I ended up doing is I ended up ordering the Taylor bulkheads. And ever since I have, you know, had the Taylor bulkheads in, and all this is Taylor, every bit of it. This gear plate, the lay shaft, all of it. The whole rear end is all built Taylor, except for, okay, so this is Fast Lane Machine, or FLM control arms, but this is Taylor, you know, Taylor carriers. It's got, you know, Taylor bulkheads, Taylor plate, Taylor brake plate. It's got RCR brakes in it, Blackbone gears. I mean, this is all the way fully built to the hilt. And I really, what I'm trying to get at, guys, is I really didn't understand, and I didn't know that these off-brand shock towers, they allowed things to move enough for, you know, for something like that to happen. I didn't know that. I didn't know that was possible. And then, like I said, ever since I switched everything over, and I had a guy comment on one of my videos, and he said, he said he thought if I got this stuff replaced and got it all Taylor, I would probably stop having issues. And he was exactly right. So, so why don't we keep going? I kind of wanted to touch on the top plate, and you don't want these super tight because they go into plastic. Okay, so I'm gonna have to get an Allen key for in here. So yeah, this all is still tight, and it's been tight for 2 runs now. So that's the most I've ever been able to get out of this stuff. Usually I'll lose a couple of these bolts, you know. Now I've never lost these outer 2, but I've lost these inner 2 a couple times. So okay, we go over that. And then we're gonna switch to our 4mm, and we're gonna check our gears to see if they're tight. And how I do this is I got my 4mm on my ratchet. I stick one of my extra spur gears up here. One of my subscribers mentioned this, and so I've been doing it ever since. Because how I was doing it, I was holding these with pliers, and you know, it for one thing, it doesn't hold them very good with the pliers. This is a better hold. And then for another thing, it kind of mars up the gears. So anyways, we're going to check that. And that one is tight. And then we're going to go here. We're going to switch up here to 14mm. And this is left-handed threads. So we're going to check the lay shaft nut or bolt. And it is tight. So yeah, that pretty much does it for my post-run checks, and that's just because my brakes are hanging up on me. But yeah, it spins freely. If this cam is pushed back, it'll start doing that. But so yeah, that goes with that's pretty much my post-run check. And then after every run, what I always like to do, and I didn't really used to do this with my 40 GT pipe, but what I like to do is I like to oil it up after every run, and I use 3-in-1 oil. And I plan on getting some of them. What are they? Hops gun wipes. Those are an awesome investment as far as doing this. But I had just bought this before. I can't remember who put out the video. There's been a couple guys put a video out on them wipes, but I had just bought this, and then I seen that video. I didn't even know that they had them Hops wipes, and so I kind of want to use this up, use up my 3-in-1 oil before I buy them Hops ones. So I'm gonna just go ahead and oil the pipe. That's what I always do. I found it easiest just to put a generous amount of oil on your rag, and then what I do is first I'll do the inside. It just seems a little bit easier for me to do. the inside first before you get the rag all crinkled, and because then it's easier to get in there, it feels like. Try to get it as best I can. You're never going to get everything on it. I mean, unless you go over it with a toothbrush, and I'm not going to do that. So I just get it the best I can and try to take care of it the best I can. But yeah, there we go. We got her all oiled up. So yeah, we got the pipe all oiled up. We did our post-run checks, and it, like I said, it's mostly main rear chassis, main fasteners that I worry about on my rear or on my post-run checks. So yeah, that's gonna do it for today's video, guys. You know what to do if you like the video. We will see you in the next one.